Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. As you know, I'm your host, Steve Molloy, and I welcome you to the show tonight. Everyone that's in the chat, everyone that's watching from other platforms, hey, come over here, join the chat. Remember, I'm on the Fins Talk Sports Network X tonight. Fins Talk Sports Network X. Come over here, look for Real Talk Fins Talk, and join the chat and the rest of the family and the community over here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful, wonderful, and exciting off season as our regular season is about to begin in a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after the Atlanta Falcons game coming up on Friday. Looking forward to that. It's been exciting. A lot of changes have happened in the Miami Dolphins organization. A lot of changes in the front office, a lot of coaching changes, a lot of player changes, new players, rookies, you name it. I was really, I was very happy that the Miami Dolphins released some, Tua Tagovailoa and the other players that have been with us the last 3 or 4 years with the McDaniel regime. And then when they hired Halfley and Sully, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know much about these guys. And then I seen we've observed what they've done with the monies, the cap, the hell that we were in. The players that they brought in, I think they had a fine draft. I think the draft was very well. There's a couple question marks. Caleb Douglas, where he was drafted at. Chris Bell, who had sustained ACL injury, we brought him in. He was drafted after Caleb Douglas, and so there was a lot of questions, and there still is a lot of questions going into the Atlanta Falcons game and the regular season. There's still a lot of questions, but there's been a lot of churning up of the roster in the back end. We brought in a lot of players and claimed players off the waiver wire and things of that nature. So, and I think we're going to continue to do that for most of the year. As I said, I'm not expecting a 10 or 11 win game season, but what I'm looking forward to is the second year players that we have progressing. I'm looking forward to the rookies, seeing how they develop, who shines, who doesn't. I'm looking for Coach Halfley. How does he react to being the first-time head coach in regular season games and things like that? So it's going to be interesting. At the same time, a lot of questions, but exciting. I haven't been this excited in a while, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't have any high expectations. I've had some podcasts on here where I've said I think they're going to do better than expected. And that still might be the case, but now that we've gone through OTAs and mini camps and the training camp and all that, and wrapping things up, we still have some questions. But my biggest concern right now for the season is depth. Is depth on the offensive side of the ball, depth on the defensive side of the ball. And we don't have much room for error. We don't have much room for any kind of margin of error with this football team as far as injuries goes, right? And to be up front, I'm going to give you some of those injuries right now, some updates as well on the injury front. Defensive tackle, edge, Colleen Farrell, tight end Will Kazmarek, and defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. Again, they missed practice, but they were in attendance. Tight end Cole Turner, who was injured in practice Tuesday, was not at practice, but as we all know by now, they waived him. They waived Cole Turner, the tight end. So he's gone. But now, for another injury update, one that I'm not very happy about that occurred today, Wednesday, was linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. Now, I don't know, I haven't heard or know how much of a serious injury that he might have sustained, but he did attend practice, but he did not participate. So we'll see how that goes. As you know, we're already missing Trey Moore, the outstanding rookie that had a spot on this 53-man roster and was probably going to start. He's out for at least four games, right? Or could be more. Who knows? But the least is 4 games. Then also running backs Ollie Gordon and Donovan Edwards, they were not spotted at practice either. We know that Ollie Gordon, he sustained an injury in the New York Giants game. It happened to be a ribs. I don't know what the seriousness is of it, but he did sustain an injury and did not participate, of course, for cautionary reasons. But let's wait and see what happens with Ollie Gordon. I'll tell you why in a minute. I don't know if this is good or a bad sign, but we did sign a running back today, Coleman Bennett. And, of course, making room for him, we waived tight end Cole Turner. But we did get a running back, Coleman Bennett. Now, I don't know if that's because Ollie Gordon may not be participating in the Atlanta Falcons game and they needed an extra running back, or if his injury is serious enough where they're not sure of when his return will be. So hopefully that's not the case. Linebacker Ronnie Harrison, he was not spotted in practice as well. So those are the injury updates that I have so far. So we'll see how everything goes. Also, Kenneth Grant, he really hasn't been making much progress in training camp at all. He's kind of been the same player that we saw last year, right? Hasn't made any steps. Zach Sealer, he's been hurt. Is he going to be the same as he was last year? Kind of started off really slow, didn't really have a great year by starting off slow like that. Is he going to be the same as he was last year, or is he going to be better at the start and continue to play at his level, his capacity that we know he can play when he's fully healthy and he's playing at the high level? Okay, we'll see. Who else? Linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. He started off in training camp. Didn't hear a lot about him in the beginning, but then he started to catch on, get really hot. He had a nose for the ball, and he was making some plays out there in training camp. So I'm happy with his progress in training camp. Let's see what happens in the regular season when we play our first game against the Raiders in 3 weeks. So we'll see. I have a big concern with our safeties back there. I mean, we got Zane Anderson. He's really a special teamer. He's a journeyman special teamer. Hasn't started, I don't believe, many games in the NFL, but he might end up being one of our starters. Okay, along with Dante Trader. Again, we acquired him last year in the draft. He's going to be a second-year man this year. How has he progressed? Has he made any steps? And he really hasn't. Has he? I mean, not really. He's been hurt. He's been hurt in training camp. Hasn't been, active in training camp. Is that going to stagnate his development? I know he got a few games last year. He got into a few games and played, but you might as well say he's still a rookie, right? Who else do we have? Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson has been up and down in training camp, right? He's just a veteran journeyman, right? He's played on many teams. So I don't know. The safety position, Michael Taft, we drafted him. He's made some plays. I mean, everybody in training camp has made some plays here and there, right? But has he been consistent? No, not really. Caleb Douglas, I know a lot of folks are already making him a star, like he's already a Hall of Famer, and he hasn't played one regular season game. He made a great catch in the Commanders game, but that's about it. And he's made some decent catches in training camp, right? But a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. So let's not put all this, high and mighty, hyping them up type stuff on these rookies and Caleb Douglas and the rest of the rookies. Let's give them an opportunity to play in regular season, to develop. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to make mistakes. Okay, they're rookies. And we're going to play a lot of rookies this year, which I'm happy we are, because we are trying to implement youth in this Miami Dolphins football team. So I'm very happy about that. Okay, are they the right guys? Are they the right draft picks? We don't know until regular season. And then I know we've got, Chop Robinson making plays on offense, putting pressure on the quarterback and stuff, and breaking through and going around Austin Jackson and beating Patrick Paul, and stuff like that, around the end and making plays. Well, that's all great, but let's see it in the regular season. Is our offense that bad that or is our defense that good? Or is he that good? Or has he progressed that much? We will see. We'll have those answers in the regular season for sure. Yeah. So I know there's been some players that have come along, and they've made impression to the coaching staff and in the of the Miami Dolphins. That's I think his name is Jason Woodard, the linebacker. He had a decent game against the Giants, now against their backups, right? But he's showing, that he can make this 53-man roster. He's showing that he wants to be on the roster, and I think he might make it on this 53-man roster, right? Who else has been shining? There was somebody else, and I can't remember, slipping my mind right now. I'll think of it as we go along. But anyway, so concerned is safety, cornerbacks. Chris Johnson, another rookie. We've had some flashes here and there with him. Again, he's a rookie. Who else? We got Ethan Bonner at cornerback. AJ Green. AJ Green has been a standout in practice and training camp. So let's see what he does in the regular season, right? Usay, the edge rusher, has been making some plays in training camp against our offense. Again, is our offense that bad, or is the defense that good, or is he that good? Again, we got a lot of questions. Okay, I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I am excited about this football team, but I'm giving you all a dose of reality here. Okay, we got to temper our expectations and stop hyping these guys up. A lot of them are rookies. Okay, they're rookies. I mean, we drafted 13. Do we think that all 13 of these rookies are going to pan out and make impacts on this team? Really? That would be the first time in the history of the NFL that every draft choice that we picked that starts has made a big impact on a team. Never has that happened in the NFL. Okay? And we got a first time head coach. First this will be his first time being a head coach in the NFL. Sully, first time GM in the NFL. A lot of these coaches, some of them have come from the college ranks. Okay? Not saying that's bad because we got a bunch of youth on this team, so that might be a good thing. We can relate to the youth, to the players, the younger players on the team. Offense, Malik Willis. It all boils down to Malik Willis, ladies and gentlemen. This whole year is going to boil down to Malik Willis. Do we have a quarterback of the future? Do we have our franchise quarterback in Malik Willis? And he doesn't have to have big stat numbers or anything like that, right? All we want to see is with the receiving group that he has, the team that he has, the young team that he's dealing with, and the receiving group that he has, 3 rookies, Kevin Coleman, Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, who's probably not 100% right now. He might be at 75, 80% right now. We can't expect him to come out and pop, make an impact on this team the first week or two of the regular season, if he even gets to play. Okay. So if he does, that's wonderful. But those are not my expectations. Okay. The kid has been out injured for 9 months rehabbing. Okay. It's going to take him a while to get back into football shape. He hasn't participated in training camp but 1 or 2 days. He's only caught maybe 1 or 2 passes. And I heard from some of the media that was out there at the training camp that he didn't look very fast. And he's a fast guy. Now, I know Sloak says he's a fast guy. Yeah, judging by his college stats. But now, how much of an impact has that ACL affected his speed, his agility, his mobility, all of that? Okay? Some of it is psychological, but physical as well. But I'm excited for this receiving core. I want them to be developed to be, a good group. But right now, the best wide receiver on this team, most reliable, is the veteran Malik Washington. Oh, we did release Taj Washington. We released Taj Washington, if you haven't heard. But wait a second. Let me clear something up here. What's going on here? There we go. Yeah. So I think the receiving group is probably going to consist of the 3 rookies: Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Theo Reese, or AJ Henning. One of those 3 is going to make one of those 3 is probably going to make the 53 or 1 or 2. I mean, there's Macaulay too, another one, and there's a couple others that are on the team as well. But there's like 3 or 4 or 5 that are competing for the number 5 and 6 spot. So we'll see who comes out of there. But that's who Malik Willis has to throw to. Again, rookies. Most of these guys are young rookies, other than Malik Washington. So I'm not going to judge Malik Willis on his stats. I'm going to judge him on can he come back? Can he make a comeback if they're down by 10, 20 points in the fourth quarter? Situational football. Can he run a 2-minute drill? Can he run the offense? Can he make plays off script when he's being pressured? Things like that. His composure. Can he keep his composure? All that kind of stuff. That's what I'm looking for in Malik Willis. And then at the end of the year, then we can give a good, fair evaluation. It was whole body of work, not just a few games where he played really great and other games he played really bad. And I'm not judging him that way. I'm evaluating him by the whole body of work. Okay. Running back core has not really been good this year. I mean, we know what Achan's capable of, right? But Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright, they really haven't made it a competition for this for the second running back spot. They've just both of them have just been kind of They really haven't been that good. Granted, it's preseason and everything, and these games are meaningless. But maybe they play differently in the regular season. Hopefully, we know what Ollie has done. I mean, we've seen some flashes of him in the preseason where he had that 16-yard run up the middle, pretty tough physical runner, but then they called it back. But I think we'll be fine in the running back position. I really do. Hopefully, that Achan can stay healthy. He had shoulder surgery in the offseason. Nobody remembers that though. And he had a rib injury too earlier during the course of the year. I think it was like the second half of the year. He had a rib injury as well, although he continued to play. But remember, this guy, if we're going to hand the ball off to him more than 20, 25 times a game, the odds of a man his size, it's just, you're asking for trouble, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they don't use him that way. I hope they give him 17, 18 carries a game, 3, 4 passes, target him 3, 4, 5 times, something like that. That's all we need from him. Okay. Tight end room. Your starter's going to be Dulcich, and he's been kind of hurt in training camp, and now Will Kazmarek is hurt. But again, we don't have much room for margin of error at all. One or two of these players get hurt, on the offense and the defense, it's going to be an ugly looking season, I think, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe these guys surprise us. Okay. That's what I'm hoping. Not expecting it, but that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, those are your starting tight ends. One's the receiving tight end, and then of course Will Kazmarek is your blocking tight end, and he's done very well in that department in blocking. And he can go out and catch a pass here and there. He's not very fast, but he can get you 4, 5, 6 yard, catch or whatnot. Sometimes that's all you need, right? Move the ball, move the chains, maybe get a first down, maybe get closer to that first down marker. Then you got Ben Sims, who's been hurt, hasn't seen a lot of training camp either. He's a veteran, but he's been hurt. Those are probably going to be the 3 tight ends that make the team on the 53. O-line. O-line has been adequate in the run game. They've been good in the run game. Passing, pass blocking, not very good. Even not only against the second teamers, but against our Miami Dolphins first team defense, they have not been very good in the pass blocking category. Not good at all. That concerns me. Why, you ask? Because if they stop the run and we can't pass block, that's going to be a bad day for Malik Willis and our offense. Because who do we have on the team? Who's the biggest star on the team? Achan. Number one, you got to keep him healthy. And number two, if they stop him, right, and then you're forced to pass, that's going to make for a bad day for Malik Willis if our O-line can't get it together in pass blocking. Now, remember, these guys have been together all through training camp. And they're still having challenges, problems in blocking the pass blocking. So that is a big question and concern for me. Austin Jackson, he's been hurt in training camp, and he has had a terrible training camp. Mediocre. Just bleh. And we don't have the depth. We don't have a good backup on the right side or throughout the offensive line, to be honest, and that we can rely on. That is to be expected with a young team and a team that is I know they don't call it a rebuild, but it sort of is a rebuild. Okay. And that's backup quarterback. Everybody's concerned about the backup quarterback. Look, there's not a lot of teams that have a backup quarterback that's going to come in there and win, a bunch of games for you. Okay. That's why he's a backup. He's in there to sustain the team for 2-3 games at the most. Okay. Unless your quarterback goes down for more than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, then you're in trouble. Can't expect your backup to win, 5 and 6 games out of 8. You can't. So hopefully, knock on wood, Willis stays healthy. He stays healthy for one of two reasons. Number one, he stays healthy because we need to evaluate him. And if he gets injured, we can't evaluate him fairly. Right? And that's a red flag if he gets injured. And number two, we need him to run this offense, operate the offense. We're not evaluating Quinn Ewers. We're evaluating Malik Willis. And so far, he has been the best quarterback in camp compared to Quinn Ewers, Gronowski, and Cam Miller. Malik Willis has been the best quarterback as he should. So we need him healthy. We need him upright. But I think the O-line is going to be, if they can block and get that pass blocking together, just be average, then I'm happy with the O-line. But I can't really give a good evaluation of this O-line. Oh, it's going to be a good O-line. It's going to be ranked 10, 15. I can't do that. Okay? They're new faces on this O-line. Caden Proctor. And then, of course, Jonas Evanai was awful last year, the worst worst guard in football. Okay? Jackson can't stay healthy for a full year. So, yes, I can't give a evaluation and say this line is going to be top 10, top 15. It's going to be a great line. I'm happy with the line. No. I like the pick. I like Caden Proctor. I think he's a monster of a man. He's a beast. He's not going to get bullied, but he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to possibly miss blocks, assignments, and things like that. You got to expect those things in this upcoming year. We're going to have a lot of young players on this team. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have much room for margin. We don't have much margin for error, right? Don't have room for that. So let's temper our expectations, okay? Let's not hype these guys up until we actually see them play a regular season game. If Caleb goes in there and lights it up, okay, fine. Then we can say, yeah, we got our wide receiver. Chris Bell, same thing, right? Caden Proctor, same thing. All these rookies. Chris Johnson, all right? So let's just keep our expectations kind of on the low side, right? Just be happy that there's been a regime change and We got new coaching. Again, we should be happy with the draft picks and happy with the trajectory this team has been going. I can see things that I can see is I think there's been a culture change. Okay. Now, is it fully made 180? No. It's probably somewhere in the middle, kind of heading that way, a complete turnaround. But I don't think it's as yet. But I do see signs. I see the attitudes of these players, and the coaches are being very, transparent, Halfley and Sully. And so far, they've done everything, that they've said. Right? I like what I see, and I like what they've said. And it just hit me. The other guy that's been really good in training camp and has been making a name for himself is Keith Cooper, defensive tackle. Woodard and Cooper, keep an eye out on them. I know next week, next Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, they have up till 6 p.m., I believe, to make the cuts down to 53. So keep an eye out for those guys. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of playing time. They're going to, they're going to be evaluated this week against the Atlanta Falcons, I'm sure. A lot of guys are going to be, bucking for that 53-man roster. So they should play hard. Against the Giants, we played our second and third string guys. I don't know. There may be 2 or 3 guys that might make the 53 that played, but most of the guys you saw the other night probably not going to be on the team after Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. But it was a terrible showing against the Giants. It just goes to show you that our depth is very, very bad. And I know it's preseason, but look, we said this about the last regime too. Oh, it's only preseason. They'll get it together. And what happened? Okay. Got to keep things in perspective. At least I do. Try to keep it in perspective. I'm excited, but I don't want to get too excited because I don't want to get let down again. I was excited when the last regime, came in, the McDaniel regime. I was excited. Tyreek Hill and Armstead and Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey. And I was excited just like all us as Dolphins fans. Then only to be let down. I'm not going through that again. I'm keeping things in perspective, giving everyone a dose of reality, and keeping it real. Keeping it real. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let you go. I said enough tonight. We'll see how everything works out this weekend and against the Atlanta Falcons. How they play against them, and I'm getting excited for the 53-man roster. I want to see who goes, who stays, all that good stuff, and how they turn the roster over. So those are exciting things to watch out for before the regular season. And then, of course, we go to Cali to play the Los Angeles Raiders. So I'm excited to see how these rookies perform and this team as a whole performs and coaching staff. So I'm sure you all are too. Hey guys and ladies, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that little bell down there and subscribe. Share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And I'll see you next week, same time, same station. And remember, Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.